Wireless earbuds. I mean, they're everywhere, right? We use them for everything. Music, calls, you name it. They're convenient, they're discreet, but what if I told you they might have a really serious security flaw? A new discovery suggests that your private conversations, well, they might not be so private after all.
So, let me ask you this. When you pop your earbuds in and take a call, you just assume it's secure, don't you? You hear that little connection chime, and you trust that it's just you and the person on the other end. But, should you?
Well, it turns out that trust might be a little misplaced. Researchers have found a vulnerability that could let an attacker secretly listen in on your calls, and if that's not bad enough, they could even just shut your earbuds down completely, right in the middle of something important.
Okay, let's get specific here. We're talking about two pretty significant flaws that security researchers dug up in a very popular line of products, the Xiaomi Redmi Buds. And this isn't just one model, it affects a whole range, from the 3 Pro all the way up to the latest 6 Pro.
So what we're looking at are two totally different problems. The first one is an information leak, and you can see it's rated critical. Yeah, that's as bad as it sounds. The other is a denial of service attack, rated high, which can basically just make your earbuds useless when you need them. Let's dig into that first one, the information leak.
The researchers have nicknamed this first flaw the Heartbleed eavesdrop. And oof, even the name gives you a chill, right? It's for a very good reason. It's a really sneaky way for someone to pull sensitive data right out of the air and right out of your earbuds.
So here's how it works in simple terms. An attacker sends a specially crafted, messed up command to your earbuds. You can think of it like asking the software a question it just doesn't know how to answer. So instead of just giving an error, it kind of panics and spits back a random chunk of whatever data it was just working with in its short-term memory.
And if you're wondering just how serious this is, get this. The researchers themselves compared it to Heartbleed. You might remember that one. It was a massive security bug that exposed passwords and all sorts of private info all over the internet. This is basically the same idea, but for a device that's literally in your ear.
Now, with each one of these malicious commands, an attacker can pull out up to 127 bytes of data. Okay, I know, that might not sound like a whole lot, but here's the thing. They can just do it over and over and over again, grabbing little pieces of data each time.
So what's actually in those 127 bytes? Well, potentially a lot. The researchers confirmed that it can expose some really sensitive stuff, like the phone number of the person you're on a call with. Just imagine you're in a coffee shop having a confidential call with your bank or your doctor. That phone number is now just floating out there for someone to grab.
All right, so that's the sneaky data stealing flaw. Now let's talk about the second vulnerability, because this one isn't about being quiet. This one is all about pure, frustrating disruption.
This is what's known as a denial of service attack. And it's pretty simple, really. The attacker just bombards the earbuds with a massive flood of data packets. The poor little device just can't keep up. Its processor gets totally overwhelmed, and the whole system just gives up and crashes.
And this is where it gets so annoying for you. Your music stops, your call drops, your earbuds just disconnect. The only way to get them working again is to physically put them back in their charging case to force a reset. But the second you take them out to try again, the attacker can just do it all over.
So just to sum it up, you've got two very different kinds of threats here, right? On one hand, you have the silent thief, the invasive attack that quietly steals your private information. And on the other, you have the noisy vandal, the disruptive attack that just makes your expensive gadget unusable. Both are serious, but man, they affect you in totally different ways. So, we know what these flaws can do. But the big question is, what's the actual real-world risk? I mean, how hard is it for someone to actually pull this off? The answer, unfortunately, is way too easy. And this is maybe the most alarming part of this whole thing. The attacker doesn't need to pair with your earbuds, they don't need a password, you don't have to click on a sketchy link. Nope. All they need is your earbud's MAC address. That's its unique Bluetooth ID, and that is super easy to find with simple tools that anyone can get. And they don't have to be breathing down your neck to do it either. The researchers were able to pull these attacks off from up to 20 meters away. We're talking about 65 feet. That's not right next to you, that's across the library or on the other side of the bus. It's well within range in pretty much any public space. So, okay, the risk is real, and it doesn't take a super hacker to do it. That leads to the most important question of all. What in the world can you do to protect yourself? Let's talk about solutions. First, a bit of bad news. At the time this research came out, the manufacturer hadn't released a firmware update to fix these issues. And that means, right now, these devices are still out there, totally exposed.
So, until a patch finally arrives, the advice is pretty straightforward, but you have to be diligent. If you're not actively using your earbuds, just turn off the Bluetooth on your phone. It's a simple step that cuts off the connection. Be extra careful about this in crowded places like airports or train stations. And of course, keep checking for firmware updates. The second one is available, you're going to want to install it immediately.
You know, this whole discovery is so much bigger than just one brand of earbuds. It really makes you stop and think. As pretty much everything in our lives goes wireless, our headphones, our speakers, our cars, how can we really be sure that the invisible signals all around us are safe? It's a huge question and definitely something to keep in mind.